I've got a bunch of my tabs open so you can kind of see what I do with Jamboard, and then you can kind of see the possibilities and decide, you know what, you're not going to learn all these things today, but at least you'll be able to be like, okay, that's worth my time. So one thing I use Jamboard for a lot is reading. You can kind of embed the reading in the background here, and then the kids can take a marker and they can't move it around. So they can kind of use this to highlight, annotate. They can write notes right on the paper. So if they wanted to write notes, there are sticky notes that they can, you know, add notes to, and they can move around their sticky notes. So there really is a lot of possibilities for this. So that's just one function that I use it for a lot, and this is many pages. So right now we're doing the teachers prep units of study, and this is our excerpt for that. So this is one way I use it. Another way for math especially. I use it for math, and it's really easy because with a stylus, which is more advanced, but if you get a stylus and you have an iPad, I create these math lessons in like 5 minutes with a pen where, you know, with other platforms, I'm doing text boxes and it's really kind of intricate, or I'm screenshotting and then putting text boxes on like Think Central, which is really painful. So I use it a lot for math. And then this gives the kids the option. The kids get a copy of the same Jamboard and they're able to write right on the Jamboard. So this is actually a student of mine doing the work. Another way that I use it is, like I said, this is the same thing, pushing out math assignments. This took me, I mean, 3 or 4 minutes to make, which is valuable, you know, for us teachers. Word problems, you can put pictures, and this one I typed before I had my stylus, so you can put pictures, emojis. I got my silly little emoji there. You know, just different ways of writing math. And these are, they look complicated, but they're really not. My newest trick, which getting out the Elmo every day is really a pain in the behind, right? And kind of locking it in. So I will open a, I have the exact same document open on my computer right now as I have on my iPad, and I can, in real time, use it like an Elmo, which is fantastic for anything that you would use an Elmo for. So I find that it's a really, really valuable tool. Now that I've kind of sold the tool a little bit, I'm going to kind of go through and show you how to get started. There's 2 ways to access Jamboard. The first way is the famous little waffle icon that we have up here. We have the waffle. Jamboard is part of the Google suite of tools. So if you click on your waffle and you scroll down, it will take you to Jamboard. It has a kind of looks like headphones, a little J with the Jamboard, and that will take you to the same way if you've done it with Google Docs or Google Forms or other Google platforms. It'll take you to like basically your Google Drive of Jamboard activities. So I'm going to my Jamboard, and I've got all of my jams are here. We call them jams because we're trendy and cool. But what I'm going to show you today is all the tools embedded in Jamboard, because that's probably what I'm supposed to be teaching that you might really need. So to start a new jam, I'm just going to click a plus here, and it works exactly like Google Docs. So I've got a blank canvas here, okay? And I'm just going to kind of show you all the tools that I can use in Jamboard and how you can use them yourself. The backgrounds are kind of limited. So I can set background. There's polka dots, you know, there's line paper, there's graphing paper. You can get more fancy and you can look up like cloud images and put image backgrounds, but that's a little bit more advanced for today. So right now, I'm just going to set a line paper background and start from there. The next thing you can do is really useful. This is the same tool that the kids can use. For the kids, it's a little more tricky because if you decide you want to invest in this, I would get a $15 stylus. It makes it a lot easier. But you, when you create it, or the kids when they write on it, this is the pen. They've got the choice of colors here, and then the pins are just different length widths. And so the kids will use their mouse, or I'm using my mouse right now. You would draw with the pen, okay? There's a pen, there's a marker, which is a little fatter. There is a highlighter, and there's a paintbrush. When I was showing you for the reading where the kids could highlight, I have them use the paintbrush because even though the other one's called a highlighter, it is a little bit darker. So for like highlighting text that they're reading, I tell them to use the paintbrush.
What are you using right now to
I'm
write with?
I'm using my mouse. I'm clicking on my mouse and I'm moving it.
Okay, because I know I tried writing on a board before and it was really uncoordinated,
Yeah,
so
and that's
you
why
can't do it on the laptop, right? You'd have to do it with the iPad like you were showing.
I, I, it doesn't look the best, so the iPad is the best. But I mean, before I did the iPad, I still would come on here and I would do their math. And like you said, it's not going to look beautiful.
Mm-mm.
So I did one, so like that. But another way to do it, that when I decided, that this was too ugly, another tool is the text box. So if you have any experiences with text boxes, I would make a
Mhm.
text box and that tool, and I would drag it. And then I would, this is kind of how I was doing my math then, but this does take a little bit more finagling, especially when you're doing subtraction and you want it to
Mhm.
line up, so then you got to put the top number.
Joseph, how did
Yes.
you, can you,
Yeah.
mine wasn't working, so I was
Yeah.
able just, I joined late. How did you even get, I got the Jamboard, went to
Mhm.
the waffle, but
Mhm.
how did you get these icons? Where did you,
The
what-
icons, the things that I'm using here, the tools on
yes,
the
right,
left,
the
They're
tools,
there.
they're just always there for you. So if I
Huh,
click on the pen, I've got my pen options. Okay.
maybe I'm,
I think she
so,
needs to open a new one. The
probably,
bottom, the plus at the bottom right.
Yeah.
oh, that's why, okay,
Okay. All right. I'm
okay,
sorry. I didn't realize that you were doing it at the same time. Yeah. So hit the
okay,
plus and you're getting a brand new document. Thank you, Karen.
perfect,
And when you
thank
have
you.
that brand new document, you've got all these pens here that you
Mhm.
can use, different colors. The eraser is if a kid wants to erase or you just want to erase, just, targeted erasing.
Mhm.
If I've written a bunch on here and I just want it all gone, there's clear frame, which is going to erase everything I have on the frame.
Clear.
Um, so that's another one. Sometimes you have to click on specific things. So like, let's see, I'm gonna do something a little bit more advanced here real quick, just so I can show you what I would do with that. So I'm gonna just put in an image um, of a cat, and I'm just gonna insert this image. And so this is something you'll learn later, but once you have an image in, when you click on this, the pointer, that's how you move things around. Okay. So the pointer is if you have images in, and like I said, please email me. I will meet you anytime to give you the next step. But the pointer is really for kind of moving things around that you have. The sticky note is really great if kids are annotating texts because I don't know if it was Michelle said, it's really hard to write. So to expect your kids with a mouse or a Chromebook without even a physical mouse to write, as they're annotating the text, it doesn't work. It's too time consuming. So I can say, Emily is surprised and excited. And so the kids can kind of put that near the story, hit save, and then with the arrow, this can be moved around. They can put it right next to the part of the story they want. They can make it bigger, smaller.
Ooh.
So that's really great for annotating text. Images, add image is popular, especially if kids are writing an essay.
Mhm.
So, they're writing an essay about cats. They've done their writing. They want to add a picture. So you'll add image. Usually the best way to do that is to do a Google image search then, because you can browse your computer or your camera, but that's going to have a limited amount of things. So once again, they would do the image, add image, Google image search, and I will say, I want to find a picture of a cat. I'll just look for my picture of a cat. This one's beautiful. And then insert. And it's going to pop right onto your screen. And then this you can also manipulate, make it bigger, make it smaller. If it's on the arrow, it'll let you move it around. And so that's kind of how that tool works. Shapes, I don't use shapes for very much. Some of the kids use it to draw. You could use it, I've used it for fractions, if I wanted a circle to make a pizza. So just click on the shape icon, a circle will come up, and you'll kind of drag and drop it as big as you want it. For me, this tool isn't very useful, but depending what grade you are and what you're teaching, that might be useful. This last one on the bottom is a laser. So this is really good for bringing it to kids' attention. Say I have a bunch of stuff here and I just want them to kind of see what's going on. It basically writes on the paper, but then it goes away. So it's not permanent.
Joseph, do you
Yes.
have time to be able to go over again
Yeah.
how, when you want to put a text, like if you want to put a book into the Jamboard,
Yeah.
do you have time for that?
Of
Like being able
course.
to take Epic or whatever?
Sure. Sure.
Because
So
since in small group, we're going to be expected to make our own Jamboards.
yep. So what I would do then is, okay, I'm going to find the text that I want to find. And this might be a little bit higher level. So if it's over some people's heads, before I get to that, let me show you one more thing. Okay, so a critical thing for Jamboard is you're going to want to make an assignment, right? And you're going to want to push it out. Some of you might know how to do this. Some of you might not. So say we're making a new Jamboard, right? And it is, we are doing subtracting, say we're doing 4.nbt.5. And just imagine we've written all the work here. There's a bunch of equations and stuff on here. We've got it. Now to push it out on Google Classroom, you're going to go to classwork. You're going to create. Create assignment. Create assignment. I'm going to say, you know, math for today's date if I wanted to. You can name it whatever you want. This is what the kids are going to see. And then you're going to add here. There's an add clipboard here. And this might be something you know how to do from Google Docs, but it's the same process. Google Drive. And the most recent stuff you worked on will be here. So it should be like the first thing there. There's our fake pretend math assignment is right there, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to click insert. Please, if you miss anything, I'll give you my phone number too. It's critical that you say students can make a copy for each student. If you put students can edit file, all the kids will be working on the same Jamboard. You don't want that probably, unless it's a group project. If it's a small group project, you can push this out as small group projects. If you just say student can view, they can see it, but they can't do anything with it. Usually for me, most of the assignments, I want a copy for each student so that they get their own individual Jamboard, they write on it, they turn it in, and you're gonna get, you know, 25 copies of that Jamboard done by all of your students. And so that's how you do that. And then you're gonna assign it. Once you assign it, the kids will have it live on their classroom stream. You know, Damien can now see this. He can see his assignment. He can click view assignment and he's going to see his work there for him to start working on. And see, right now it's assigned to all of my kids. With the question that
Joseph, if I want to
yeah.
just use, I have a question.
Yeah.
If I just want to use it with my small group within the class itself and not push it out because I use Seesaw,
Okay.
how do I do that? How do I, with a link, and then how do they go in and use it? So if I put that in the chat box, a link,
Yes.
then do they automatically go in and find
So,
their?
good question. And this we might have to meet again, Maria, but I will show you quickly. And I don't want to miss
Okay.
Michelle's question either. When you have your jam here, all right, here's my Jamboard. This is my happy face assignment. I want you kids in Seesaw to use the happy face assignment. You're going to click on the share button. Click on the share button.
Okay.
If you've ever seen this before for a Google Doc, you want to share. You want to switch. This is a really critical part here where it says restricted. You want to change this to anybody with the link. So there's the drag down button here. It says South Bay right now. I'm going to switch it to anybody with the link. Okay. After I do that, then I can copy. I'm just going to click this and copy my link, and then you put it in your Seesaw. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Did anybody have questions about that? So I'm going to copy this link here. My link is copied. Now I'm going to go and copy and paste into Seesaw. I'm not familiar with Seesaw, but Megan told me that that's how you do it. So
And they would have to edit too. You'd have to change viewer to editor if
Yes.
they're going to write on it.
Thank you, Michelle. So you'll change it to editor so that they can edit it. If you do this tomorrow and it's not working, and Joe, you told me, and now it's not working, you can text me, or let me give you my email again. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'll keep talking about what Michelle asked, but I do know that you have another meeting in 5 minutes, so I will stick around and kind of show what Michelle asked. Michelle asked me, this is going to be a little bit more higher level, but I'm going to show her, and it is really useful. You guys do kind of need to know. All right, say I have a book that I want to put the image into my Jamboard so the kids can highlight and annotate. All right, so let me just pull up a book real quick.
I know it's slow.
Yeah, too many people, too many of us, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me find one of my books here that I've assigned. All right, what's your story, Amelia Earhart? All right, I want to put this picture into a Jamboard, okay? This page here into a Jamboard. What I'm gonna do, and I'll go slow because I talk fast. I don't know if any of you know how to do snips,
Yes.
but you need to take a snip. A snip, I am going to hit the Window, Shift, and S at the same time.
What? What does it mean?
Window, it's
Window.
WIN, it's on the bottom close to the
Alt.
next to Alt. I'm going to hit Window, Shift, and S all at the same time. Sometimes I got to do it a couple times, but you get this little plus sign here.
Mm.
And I'm going to click where I want it to start. And I basically got to drag it. Whatever is in this box is what I'm going to put on that page. Okay. So I highlighted it all. I want to put this into my Jamboard. And it's going to kind of, it's popping up over here, but I don't need to do anything. All right, now, if I go back to my Jamboard where I want to put it, I am just going to hit Control V, right? That's the paste option. And it's going to pop up. And now I can make it bigger. You know, this one's not really perfect because it's a different size. So maybe it probably would have been better, and let's just do that anyways. For me, probably I would just get rid of the teddy bear and kind of just focus on the writing. And now I'm going to go back and paste it. It's gonna fit better. So I'm going to kind of put that in there. This is a lot of steps and you're going to forget them. Call me or text me because this is not the 101. This is a little bit more advanced. Now I'm going to go. Now it's there, right? Now the kids can move it around. If they're showing unexpected behaviors, they can delete it. Right now it's not embedded. Right now they can mess with it. What I need to do then is click on the 3 dots and save frame as image. It's going to take a picture of my whole frame. Save frame as image. So I'm going to delete this now. I've got my image here, or well, let me do it this way. Now I'm going to go to set background. Please call me or text me. I know this is a lot, but this is a really important tool. Set background, and then I'm going to put my own image. And the image I'm going to put is the one that we just took. All right. So let me one more time.
So the snipping tool doesn't work, like the one that comes, like the computer snipping tool does not work.
Yeah, it should. It's just easier for me to use. I just hit Windows Shift and S, and you don't have to go through the computer.
I tried it, but when I did right click to paste, the paste doesn't show up.
I don't do right click then, Karen. Thank you. It's for that, bringing that up. Right click doesn't work. You have to hit Control V. So hit Control first and then V, and it works. Control C copies, Control V pastes. So try Control V and it should paste. Did it work? Cool.
Yes.
All right, so now I'm going to set my background, right? I'm going to set background. I'm going to hit the picture with the plus. When I hit the picture and the plus, I'm going to open this here, this whiteboard thing, and I'm just going to drag it into the little cloud here. And now it should be there. The kids cannot move this now. It's there. They cannot mess with it. They can now take their highlighter with, like I said, I like to use the paintbrush in the yellow. They can highlight it. They can annotate it. If I do not set it as a background, they can mess with it. My kids have social and emotional challenges, so they'll delete each other's stuff on there. They'll erase things, they'll move things, they'll be inappropriate, and gen ed kids do that too. So that was a lot. I am so happy to help at any time. Text me, email me. I think your next meeting starts in 1 minute. If you have any pressing questions and you want to be late to your next meeting, I will stay here. But otherwise, if there are questions in the chat, in the meeting with Google Meets, I use it in Zoom. Yeah, it should be able to be used across all platforms. All right.
Awesome. Well worth the time, Joe.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yes, Karen.
Is it something that you could use like interactively during class or like a small group? Like,
Yes. Yes. So
so
remember
I
when
use Seesaw mostly.
you remember when we went to, when I changed it to make a copy for each person?
Yeah.
You can change it. Here, let me just actually show you.
So they would then have their own copy.
Yes, but another way to do it is to make it so that, let me see. When I'm assigning it, okay, I need to go to classroom. Sorry, let me brainstorm. So if I go to my classes and I want a small group and I want 5 kids to work on it, I can go to my classwork. I've already assigned it, but I can change it here. So the math assignment that we did, you know what I don't want them to do? I want them to do it in a small group together. I can go and I can change it from, let me see.
So that's when it's going to be they all are writing on the
Yeah.
same one.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me figure out the best way to get there. So right now I have each student will get a copy. You would want to change it to, so I'm going to remake the assignment because that doesn't work anymore. You're going to change it to the students all can edit. And so they're all working on the same jam.
Okay.
Okay, so let me do that real quick. Go ahead, please continue.
Now, so I have first graders and they're on the iPads,
Mhm.
and when they go off of Zoom, like onto, anything else, they can't see each other anymore. So
Yeah, that could be a challenge. I really
Yeah.
don't have any experience with Seesaw, so maybe Megan might know for her office hours. That might be a
Yeah.
question for her. So right now I'm going to go to students can edit file. If I did that, all of my students will be working on the same exact page.
Okay.
And if you only want some of the kids, you can go from here from all students and you can say, you know what, I want these 4 to work on it. And then those 4 kids will get it on their Google Classroom or their Seesaw and be able to work on it. And then the next group, I can add, 4 or 5 more kids. You can do that as well.
So it would be the most beneficial, like if you just have a few kids working, because if there's too many on one page, it's going to get all crazy.
It can get crazy.
Yeah.
And then also, like I said, like if all of us in here are working on right now and I'm not making good choices, Karen, you could be putting on sticky notes and I can be erasing them.
Right.
So that it can get kind of like, you
Yeah.
have to, maybe with your kids that are most appropriate, this would be appropriate to have them, everybody can edit. And I have some things where I have everybody can edit for 8 of my kids, and then I'll push out a Jamboard for just my one kid who's the troublemaker.
Yeah.
So you really want to kind of gauge. Yeah.
So Joseph,
Okay. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
You're welcome.
Joseph,
Yes.
if I have a text that I've already pushed out in my Google Classroom, but now I want them to be able to highlight, what are the steps? Do I go to Jamboard first and how do I get them to be able to highlight it?
Did you
So-
push it out on a Jamboard already?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The steps are first to go to Jamboard and bring the text in like you
Yep.
showed.
Yep. So you're going to want to go to, you'll go to Jamboard
Uh-huh,
and you're going to just kind of go to the Jamboard home,
uh-huh.
which is this J here, and you're going to start a brand new one. So you're going to start a new jam. And then
Okay.
you're going to want to do
then
this.
I would go, so I search in my drive and I already have it on the drive.
Mhm.
So
You have the text on your drive.
yes, I have the text on the drive.
So you're going to want to do that snipping where you're copying and pasting it and putting it in
Okay.
the Jamboard.
Okay,
It
and
can be
then,
a little time consuming, especially if you've never done it before, but once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take that
Yeah.
long.
so then once I put it onto my Jamboard, once I have it done, then I just assign it, because I do
Mhm.
the assignment thing all the time.
Yeah, so you'll just want to make a copy for each student, and then each student would get the Jamboard with the book, and it would be their own personal copy, and they could highlight, annotate, do as
Oh.
much as they want to it.
Okay,
You could send out the book for everyone to edit if you wanted to, but then they would all have the same copy of the same book.
yeah, but right now we're working with just passages, so.
Yeah, that's what we're working on too. And so,
Yeah.
like this is our passage for I'm doing 4th grade. And so
Uh-huh.
this is the exact passage. But what I did was I did the snips of the
Oh,
reading.
so then I would be able to do the same thing, because I
Yep.
already have the steps here.
Mhm.
So then now, instead of just showing it on the DocuCam, I can take it from my drive and copy it and paste it on the side.
Yep. And if you want to set up a meeting in the next day or so, if you're still not sure how to do it, just
Yeah.
email me, and after lunchtime, you and I can get together and I can walk you through how to actually get it on
I
there.
would love it, because it just gets more grabs their attention
Yeah.
more.
Perfect. And
Okay,
then
thank
even
you.
when you get higher level, after you've used it for a while, like I've got all the anchor charts on here. So as you know, I'm reading, I can bring their attention to this anchor chart and I can kind of move it and say, okay, remember we're studying characters. What do we know about them? You know,
Yeah,
I've got,
it's a lot quicker because I have in my classroom, I've created an anchor chart area, but then
and
they have to go into the area, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, and
this
they're
link.
probably not even really accessing it. So even here, the kids are getting a copy. They're getting the copy with the anchor charts as well. So when I teach it, I can show them. And if
Yeah,
they ever want to pull it up, they can go, you know, to the page and there's the anchor charts ready for them. So, I mean, some
okay.
of this is higher level stuff, but I'm happy to take the time with you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Bye, Maria.
Bye-bye.